So it's a big question. What, if anything, is unique about Jewish culture that's fostered creativity? There's so many answers. And I think we'll start with Bob Meinkoff. So Jews are famous for their humor. Is there something in Jewish culture that's brought this about? And is there a connection between humor and creativity?
Well, you got me stumped. I'm going to pass. No.
Use your mic.
Is that working? That's great. I think that humor is essentially a creative process. Arthur Koestler wrote this book, The Act of Creation, which he said there was a relationship between the aha process and the ha-ha process. And it's this thing to sort of what he called bisociation, taking two different completely frames of associational reference and combining them together. So in a cartoon, it would be something like, okay, so you see a knife and it has all corkscrews and it's called French Army knife. So in that moment, you put those two things together. I think Jewish culture is uniquely suited to not only bisociation, but trisociation, quadrasociation, because it's associating so many different things. And I think that Jews in humor, what happened, you know, when you look at Eastern Europe, you found, you know, these people in the middle of one culture, having their own culture, also having, you know, their love of learning. And when that got transposed, really, to America, you know, people think that making jokes or being funny is just sort of, you know, this natural process. It actually involves an enormous amount of work. And in Jewish culture, from my own experience, like why I was funny or the cartoonists are funny, you know, before I became a cartoonist for the New Yorker, I looked at all 50,000 cartoons, you know, in the New Yorker magazine. I also think that one of the sources of humor is, Mark Twain, who was not Jewish, said that the secret source of humor is not joy but sorrow. And one of the things that the Jewish people had, unfortunately, but fortunately for humor, is an awful, you know, lot of sorrow. So this whole coping mechanism that the Jewish people used, you know, is part of, is part of that. And the other thing, which I don't want people to take this the wrong way, is, but to be funny, you have to be a little bit crazy. a little bit willing to experience things out of the ordinary. There was an article in Scientific American showed that really there was quite a strong relationship between eccentricity and creativity, you know, and also humor. And from my own experience, you know, one of the eccentricity, you know, tests, are you eccentric, is, do you think you're sort of a square peg in a round hole? And I never met a person who was involved in humor, who was a stand-up comedian or a cartoonist, didn't feel that essentially. And being that square peg in the round hole is, I think, a unique Jewish experience because of their being displaced and then, you know, placed in this culture. So I'll stop now. Oh, I did want to talk about my 999 plan. No, let me go. I'll stop.
You don't have to stop. You still have another minute.
Oh, I have another minute.
Yeah, you got another minute.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, the thing is that I think enables people to be creative and funny is this actual sort of technical term called cognitive disinhibition, where most people are very, very focused, and they are focused on exactly what they're doing, and they're sort of not letting these other stimuli come in. And cognitive disinhibition, this being eccentric, lets all these sort of other things filter. I mean, to be funny, I'll say one of the ways to be funny, and I think this is very easy being Jewish, is just imagine that you're a visitor from another planet, you know, sort of drop down in a culture, and everything seems ridiculous to you then. You know, you're on the plane, let's say, coming down here, and they announce, this is a non-smoking flight. Oh, excuse me, I got to get off. I want the smoking flight. You know. Please use the seatbelt when seated. When else would you use them? I mean, it's just this experience, and I think that when you look at Jews and they came over here, whether it was Mad Magazine or the various comedy posts, it was this just being in the culture, you really, you know, but being part of it. And I will cede my 7 seconds remaining to whoever goes next.